you're not sure of how to begin your renovation, go to Home Trust. Home Trust is Singapore's leading renovation platform that matches homeowners with trusted interior designers. On the main page, simply click the Get Recommendations feature and answer a few simple questions to get matched with reputable IDs. From there, you can check out their portfolios and take a look at their reviews. Did you know that Home Trust do not delete negative reviews? This is where Home Trust stands out, by providing the promise of trust and transparency to homeowners like ourselves. If you want to know more, make sure you visit their website at hometrust.sg. Hi everyone! In the previous video, we finished our carpentry installation. We shared quite a number of tips over there, so be sure to check that out. In this video, we'll be installing the sink, countertop and backsplash, so watch till the end to see the final result. And so today we are back at the unit and you can see that the countertop has been successfully installed. You can go online and have a look at the different kinds of countertop materials. There's things like quartz, compact glass and sintered stone. So the material that we went for is sintered stone. So sintered stone is slightly better than quartz in terms of the maintenance and also the durability as well. However, the cost will be slightly higher than quartz material itself. So this is the sintered stone design that we went for. And so up next, we are going to install our kitchen backsplash over here. On the way, deliver kitchen backsplash. This is a van. Now here's the end result after the backsplash and the countertop has been done. So for now, let's talk about the countertop first. There's usually a lot of debate between quartz versus sintered stone for countertop, and honestly, I find that material-wise, quartz is good enough. The houses 20-30 years ago are using quartz and they're still holding up very well today. One of the main reasons why we chose sintered stone here is because quartz will turn yellow over time because of the resin compound inside. Sintered stone will also turn yellow, but it takes a much longer time. I'm talking about 20 to 30 years. Price-wise, I wouldn't say that sintered stone is a lot more expensive. It just costs a little bit more than quartz, but it's a much more durable material overall. So for the countertop, we paid $109 per foot run, including GST, for 14 feet of sintered stone. So that works out to be slightly less than 1.5k. I wouldn't say it's cheap, but there's definitely a lot more expensive options out there. Homeowners will typically pay $160 or even $200 per foot run for sintered stones. When I was shopping around, the cheapest one that I saw so far was $80 per foot run, and that was a pure white color stone without any grains and patterns like what you see over here. And for those of you without any color preferences, I think it's a great deal. Anyways, when buying sintered stones, make sure to choose a 15mm profile like what we have over here. Some of the stones that I saw are 12mm thick, which I find it to be too thin for daily abuse. For sintered stones, the company we went with is Demoda Tiles. Although the prices are not very high, I find that the service is so-so only. For example, you can see that the color I selected has some grains and patterns. This means that every slab of sintered stone is different. When I requested to visit their warehouse to select the exact piece of the sintered stone, I was rejected. So that's a bummer. I know that some companies even allow you to choose exactly where to cut for the hob and the sink. So for example, once I decided I want this particular slab of sintered stone, but I somehow do not like this particular pattern over here. So I can request for this particular shape to be cut out for the sink or the hob. For my case, they just cut everything at factory and bring it on site to install. And in the end, I decided not to be too fussy over it, and it turned out to be still alright. I know that there will be some homeowners who cannot accept even the variations in grain patterns. Another point is that some companies will allow you to keep these cutouts because technically you have already paid for it. For our case, Demoda did not allow us to keep. They say that the way they cut, it will turn this piece of cutout into many pieces which cannot be reused and has to be discarded. I didn't even get to see the cutouts, which is such a waste. Anyways, for those of you who are renovating your kitchen, be sure to at least ask your ID to keep these cutouts, because they can be made into many useful items like shampoo ledgers, toilet roll ledgers, or even shelves. Anyways, you can visit Demoda at their showroom. It was quite an interesting place to visit. They don't just sell sintered stones, they have tiles, vinyl, even toilet vanity and the integrated sinks as well. Again, I'm not sponsored by them, just sharing some of the things I learned in my research and renovation journey, and hopefully it can benefit some of you. Now let's talk about the backsplash. Many IDs out there will recommend going for the same material for both the countertop and the backsplash. For myself, I find it to be an overkill to put sintered stone on the wall. Yes, it will be more aesthetic, especially if you chose marble designs, to have the grain lines flowing from the countertop into the backsplash. However, I find that it's not like we are going to chop vegetables or put burning cookware onto the wall, so I find that it is not an efficient allocation of money. But for those of you who are not concerned about budget, then by all means go ahead. What we went with instead is this Japanese fiberglass panels from Admira that not many homeowners are aware of. Actually, for all the IDs that I spoke with, I would say that only 30% of them know what this is. This material is heat resistant, scratch resistant, stain resistant, impact resistant. It even has class 0 fire rating, so I think it's the perfect material for backsplash. Price-wise, tempered glass is always going to be the cheapest. For this kind of dimensions in the L-shaped kitchen, you can easily get it done for below $500. But the biggest downside for glass is that it may shatter eventually. For this kind of fiberglass panels, it is slightly flexible, so it will never shatter like glass. It comes in many designs like stone, marble, and even wood and travertine designs that traditional tempered glass cannot offer. You can visit Admira showroom for these panels. The staff will help you and you can request for samples like this. Now here are some of the samples that I collected from Admira showroom. There are many designs to choose from. You can just ask the friendly staff over there and they'll pass some of them to you. When you're collecting samples and comparing the colors, make sure you compare with lighting, and also you can compare with your countertop material to see which one suits you the most. Another advantage is that these fiberglass panels come in 3 feet by 8 feet. It is large enough that there will not be any joint lines, so that it is easier to clean, and it is small enough to fit inside the lift. If you go with tiles, there will surely be some grout lines in between which will need to be maintained regularly. Price-wise, depending on the color you choose, each panel costs $200 excluding installation. For this kind of dimensions, 2 panels is sufficient. For installation and transportation, it will cost another $300 to $500 depending on how much your ideal contractor wants to charge you. So total, it will be around $800 for this kind of dimension in an L-shaped kitchen, which is more than a tempered glass, but definitely lower than other options like compact glass or sintered stone designs. Now that everything is done, let me share some stories here. So all along, I was supposed to buy this color called Botticino Frost. You can see that it is almost the same color as my countertop. But when I was at Admira showroom about to pay money already, I saw this stone color with a bit of stone textures, and I was super tempted. And very unfortunately, this particular color cost $300 per piece. The other colors were only $200. In the end, my Lalamove driver was already arriving and I had no time to think. So I just impulsively closed my eyes and paid the $600 for it. Now that it is done, I think it's actually quite nice, especially if I go and turn on the lights. You can see that the stone textures here are highlighted very nicely. But actually looking back, I'm not sure if I regret paying that $200 more for just a color difference. Maybe you can let me know in the comment section down below, have I made the right choice, or should I have just stick to the cheaper color? I'm keen to hear more from you. I don't usually make a lot of impulse decisions, so this is just a funny story that I tell my friends whenever they are here. With the entire kitchen completed, here are a few tips on material selection. You can see here that every surface we chose is matte instead of glossy. From the bottom carpentry, to the countertop, to the backsplash, to the top carpentry, everything is matte apart from the induction hob and this small piece of glass on the cooker hood over here. Glossy surfaces tend to attract fingerprints and scratches will show easily. They also tend to reflect light in the kitchen, like what you're seeing over here, that may be glaring or cause light pollution. Hence, I believe that matte surfaces are the way to go. Additionally, lighter surfaces are prone to stains and dark surfaces make dust and dirt very visible. It is best to go for something in between to strike a balance. Especially for the countertop over here, where you cannot have a robo vacuum to run the entire area on a regular basis. You can consider going with a bit of textures and patterns like what we are seeing over here, so that any dirt and small scratches can be hidden. And that is all for today's video. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section below. Otherwise, we'll see you in the next video. Bye!